All right, welcome back to another game of Uptempo basketball. My name is Brian Hafferkamp. I am the designer and creator of Uptempo basketball. And in this game, we're going to continue our 95-96 opening night replay. This will be Cleveland at Orlando. And should be a good game here. Two top-level teams, both with a 1-3 chance on the scoring run. And you can see here, we have played up to this point here. We just played Washington, Philadelphia. And in this game, it was 99-88, Orlando over Cleveland. So let's see how this one turns out on the tabletop. And let's get our up-tempo application here. We're just going to reset the game. That was from the one before. This one, we're going to play all of the players and defense, just like we have been in the previous game with Washington and Philadelphia. We were just playing with the team cards, but Orlando is a 60-win team, Cleveland with 47 wins. Penny Hardaway, Shaq, and Nick Anderson on this team. Dennis Scott, Horace Grant. That was a good team that they have. Brian Shaw coming off the bench. And also, not a lot of super well-known players over here, but Terrell Brandon, a really good point guard. Danny Ferry could shoot it, and they had a young Sura and Marley coming off the bench. So let's check this out. And Cleveland at Orlando. Let's make sure everything is all set here. Get a little water. Got to get prepared. We need to handle the tip-off. 1-5 is going to be to Cleveland, or 1-5, 1-50. 51 to 100 was Orlando, and the tip goes to the Cavs. So Cleveland with the ball first, and it's going to be 38. That's going to be a two-point attempt. That goes to Bobby Phills. Phills being guarded by Nick Anderson, who's a +5 defender. So that makes him a 52% shooter. And that helps Bobby Phills with his first bucket of the game, as he would have missed it if we had just gone without playing the defense. But because he gets a +5, Phil's is able to put it in. Orlando comes back down the way, and their first possession is a turnover, as they can't hold on to the ball. And the Cavs back down the floor. It's another two-point attempt. This time it goes to Michael Cage. Cage being guarded by Shaq, so that drops him down to a 51% shooter. And Michael Cage down low puts it in for two. 4-0 is the Cavs' lead early in this one. Orlando gets to the free throw line. This will be Shaq at the free throw line, 48% shooter. He makes the first and the second, and so that's a good start to Shaq's night, as he puts in his first two free throws. Cleveland with the ball, and they turn it over for their first turnover of the game. Orlando comes back down the floor in their set offense, as they drop it into Anthony Bowie. Bowie with an opportunity here, and he's being guarded by Bobby Phills, so he's a neutral defender. 1-48 is a make, and Bowie is up to the challenge as he drops it in for two. Ties the game at 4. Cleveland with the ball coming back down the floor. 57 is going to be an and-one opportunity here. So 88 will be Dan Marley, as he takes it hard to the rack. He puts it in for two, and he makes the free throw. So majorly with the 2 and a 1, the old-fashioned three-point play, and that's a 7-4 lead now for Cleveland. Orlando narrowly misses the turnover, and instead it'll be Nick Anderson to the line, 69% shooter. He misses the first, but he makes the second, and that'll be 1 for Orlando. The lead is now 2, 7-5, early here in the first quarter for Cleveland. 38 is a two-point attempt. That's going to go to Terrell Brandon. Brandon being guarded by Brian Shaw this time. That's a 49% shooter. So 1-49, and Terrell Brandon misses his first field goal of the game. Ball back to Orlando. 87 is going to be a three-point attempt. That comes from Penny Hardaway. Hardaway being guarded by Terrell Brandon, who's a -1. So 1-30, and it's made, and that's in, as Penny from the top of the key drops it in for 3. And that's going to be a 8-7 lead now for Orlando, as they push just ahead of Cleveland. 44 is a two-point attempt. That's going to be for Danny Ferry. Ferry being guarded by Joe Wolf, who's a +3 defender, so 1-53. And Danny Ferry with the bucket puts Cleveland back in the lead, 9-8. 8 minutes left in the first quarter. Orlando comes down. There's a 2-point attempt. That's from Nick Anderson. Anderson being guarded by Bobby Phil, so 1-48 for Slick Nick, and he puts it in for 2. That's 3 points in the game for Anderson, and Orlando pulls ahead. The 35 is a 2-point attempt. That's going to go to Bobby Phil's. Phil's being guarded by Nick Anderson, who's a 5 defender, so 1-52 is a make, and Bobby Phil's 4 points in the game, 11-10, Cleveland over Orlando. Back to the free throw line. This time it's going to be Horace Grant to the free throw line. Ho Grant with the makes 1, makes 2, and Grant is on the board with 2 points. 12-11 back and forth in this one. And Cleveland back to the line. This will be Danny Ferry, 76% shooter. He makes the first and the second. 4 points in the game so far for Ferry. 13-12 is our score. Cleveland over Orlando. Orlando's going to get back to the free throw line. This is Penny Hardaway, takes it down the lane and gets hacked on the floater in the paint. And he's going to go to the line, 76% shooter. Yes. And so he makes the first and the second, and Penny now has 5 in the first quarter. 14-13, Orlando retakes the lead, but back to the line go the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is Chris Mills to the line. He makes both, and Mills with his first 2 points of the game. Small forward for Cleveland. 87 for Orlando. It's another 3-point try. This goes to Penny Hardaway again. Again, he's guarded by Brandon. So 1-30 is a make, and he misses this time on the 3. And ball back to Cleveland on the long rebound. They get to the line, and this will be Bobby Phil's at the line. He hits both, and that is 6 points for Bobby Phil's. Cavs lead 17-14 over Orlando. Orlando comes down and promptly throws it away, and that's turnover number 2 for them. Cleveland takes advantage. This is going to be an auto bucket that goes to Bob Sura. I believe this was his rookie year or second year. And that's going to be a bucket for Sura. 19-14 is the lead. Orlando trying to keep it close. This is a 47 2-point attempt. That goes to Horace Grant. So he gets the ball underneath. He's guarded by Danny Ferry, who's a +2 defender, so 1-53. And Ferry with a good defense as Grant misses on the field goal. Cleveland back down the floor. 54 is going to be a 2-point attempt. That goes to Chris Mills. Mills being guarded by Dennis Scott, who's a +3. So 1-52 for Chris Mills, and Mills misses. So good defense by Scott, and Orlando comes back down the floor with the ball. 2-point attempt by Penny Hardaway. He's a 57% shooter. An amazing player, Penny Hardaway there. He had a stretch of like 3 to 5 years. It was just crazy. He's being guarded by Terrell Brandon, so 1-56. That's going to be a make for him. And he drops in the contested shot, and that cuts the lead to 19-16. Cleveland with the ball. They're going to go back to the line. This will be Chris Mills to the line, 82% free throw shooter, and Mills drops them both in. He's now 4 for 4 from the charity stripe. 26 is going to be a free throw attempt for Orlando, and that will go to Shaquille O'Neal. 1-48, so he makes 1, and he misses 1. So makes the first and misses the second, and that cuts the lead to 21-17. Cavs over the Magic. Here's an 83 just at the top end of our auto 2 range, and John Crotty gets into the game, and he puts in the bucket. 23-17, 3 minutes left in the quarter. 71 is going to be an auto bucket that goes to Shaq, and Shaq is 2 for 5 points here in the first quarter. The Cavs go on a scoring run, and that scoring run is going to be an 8-0 run. So for Cleveland, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's going to take us right down to 20 seconds left in the quarter. And let's see how they did it. It's a 45. So that's going to help us know where to look and who scored what. So it's the Cavs on an 8-0 run, and 45 is this third line here. So it's a 3 from Bobby Phills. It's a couple of buckets from Chris Mills, and it's a free throw from Michael Cage. So miss one, make one. And that's how we get to the 8 points, and Orlando gets the last shot of the half, and this is going to be a turnover for the Magic. Third turnover of the game, and let's go ahead and figure out all of our scores. This is 2, 2, 4, 6, 9 points for Bobby Phills. Nice start for him. 2, 4, 6, 8 for Chris Mills. A bucket for Bob Sura. 3-point play for Marley, and 3 for Michael Cage. So this is 11, 13, 21, 24, 28, 30, 31. Is that where we're at? Yep, that's where we're at. Okay. So 31 for Cleveland, and we're right on. That's 3, 5, 7 for Penny Hardaway. 3, 2, 2, 2, 4, 5 for Shaq. So this is 10, 12, 14, 19. And that's where we are. So this is good. So 31-19, it's going to be a 12-point lead for Cleveland. They're going to have the ball starting in the second quarter. And let's get it rocking. So this is a 12. That's a turnover to start the second quarter. So that's turnover number 2 for the Cavs. And Orlando comes out firing. This is an 88 3-point attempt from Nick Anderson. Anderson being guarded by Bobby Phills, so he's a true 39%. And he misses. So Anderson with the missed 3 coming out of the second quarter. Ball back to the Cavs on the long rebound. And this will be a 2-point attempt that comes from John Crotty. Crotty being guarded by Anthony Hardaway. And a true 49%. And Crotty with the miss. So both teams a little cold here to start the second quarter, but Orlando comes down and puts it in. That's going to be Shaq with the hammer job down low, and Michael Cage, nothing he can do to stop that. 18, Cleveland goes back to the line, and this will be John Crotty to the line. Crotty getting a little bit of playing time here in the second quarter. He makes the first, and he makes the second, and that's going to be 2 points for him. 33-21 is our score. 15, the Magic go to the line. 83 is going to be Brian Shaw to the line, 79% shooter. And Shaw with 2 points. Longtime point guard in the league, Brian Shaw. 33-23, so a 10-point lead for the Cavs. Back to the line they go. And this will be Bob Sura to the line. He makes 1. And he misses 1, so Bob Sura makes the first and misses the second. That's going to be a 34-23 lead. 11 is the lead for the Cavs, and the Magic can't get out of their own way as they commit their 4th turnover. And Cleveland comes back down the floor. That's going to be a 34. So to the line is going to be Chris Mills, 82% shooter, and he's going to make both of them. So first 2 of the quarter for Chris Mills. Score is 36-23, 13-point lead for the Cavs. The Magic with a 50. That's going to be a 2-point attempt to Penny Hardaway. He's being guarded by Terrell Brandon. So 1-56, and that's a make. And Hardaway gets D'd up. He's got 7 in the game, but a couple of misses there, and he misses that one. Back down the floor come the Cavs. This is a 2-point attempt. That's going to go to Danny Ferry. Ferry being guarded by Horace Grant. And Grant, not a great defender. I hope that's right. 14. I can't imagine it is. I'm sure it's a 4. We're going to play it as a 4. All right, so I can't imagine he's a 14, but maybe he is. Let's see. Horace Grant, we'll say +4. And 1-54 for Danny Ferry, and that is good as Ferry drops the jumper on Horace Grant. 38-23, the lead, Cavaliers over the Magic. This will be a bucket to Anthony Hardaway, who hits the jumper, and 38-25, 13-point lead for the Cavs. Here's a 23. This is a free throw. This goes to Chris Mills, good free throw shooter, 82%, and Mills drops them both in. He is 1, 2, 3, 4, so he's 8 for 8 from the line. Is Chris Mills in this game? And Cleveland is up to 40. There's 7 minutes and 20 seconds left in the half. Here's a scoring run from Orlando, and a 63 is going to be a 6-0 run for the Magic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that helps cut into the Cavaliers' lead. It's going to be 40-31, as they'll be trailing by 9 at this point. So a 6-0 run, and we have our 33 is the number here. That's what we're looking at. So we're looking at this second row. So it's going to be a bucket and a free throw for Penny Hardaway. It will be a three-pointer for Nick Anderson, who missed one early on, and that's how we get to our 6-0 run. So the guard play leads the way there. We take our 2 minutes off the clock, and 5 minutes and 20 seconds now. It will be Cleveland ball. Cleveland up by 9, 40-31 after that brief scoring run from the Magic. Here's a 60. 60 is going to be an auto bucket. That's going to go to Chris Mills, and he's got 6 in the quarter. 42-31, lead back to 11. 21 is back to the line for Penny Hardaway. 76 is his number, and he drops in both free throws. 42-33. The lead is 9 for the Cavs, and they turn it over. That's their third turnover of the first half. 47 be a two-pointer. That's going to be from Nick Anderson, and he's being guarded by Bobby Phil. So 1-48 is a make for Nick, and that will be a miss. Orlando gives the ball back to the Cavs. Cavs come back down the floor. That's going to be a bucket to Chris Mills. So Chris Mills with 8 in the quarter, and he's got 16 for the game. So he is turning it up. Orlando comes back down, and that's going to be a bucket that goes to Penny Hardaway. Hardaway with a lot of activity in this second quarter. He's got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 points, 16 for the game, and he's keeping Orlando in it. Not hearing a lot from Shaq in this second quarter, and Cleveland with the ball. There's 3 minutes left in the half. 66, that's going to be a bucket that goes to Terrell Brandon, the point guard. First time we've called his name, and his first 2 of the game. So it's going to be a 46-35, 11-point lead for Cleveland, as Orlando can't quite crack the nut here. So 80 is going to go to Brian Shaw. That's a bucket. He's got 4 in the quarter, and that brings the lead back to 46-37, so under 10. Cleveland says not so fast, and Terrell Brandon with his second bucket in a row pushes the lead back to 11. Orlando with a 78, that's going to go to Penny Hardaway. Penny Hardaway with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 in the quarter, and he's got 18 for the game. Did I give him enough? So 11, 13, 15, 18, 20. It should be 39. Okay. All right. And ball goes back to the Cavs. Under 2 minutes left. And that's going to be turnover number 4 for Cleveland. Orlando, an opportunity to cut further into the lead. This is going to be a 2-point attempt for Shaquille O'Neal, 57% shooter. He'll be facing off against Michael Cage. So that drops him down to a 54% shooter. And that defense was just enough to cause the miss for Shaq. Sorry about that. Had a little sneeze. And the Cavs back down the floor. 1 minute left. I did not give those 2 to Shaq. Cavs, 1 minute left. Here's 43. 43 is going to be a 2-point attempt. That comes from Bob Sura. Sura being guarded by Nick Anderson, so it's a +5. So he's a 47. 1-47 is good for Sura, and he misses on the jumper. Good defense there from Nick Anderson. And Orlando, an opportunity as they come down, and this is Shaq who throws it down. That's his fourth point of the quarter, and the lead is now 48-43, only 5 points as Orlando coming back in this one. Back to the free throw line. This is their last possession of the half for the Cavs. It will be Dan Marley to the line, 71% shooter. He makes them both, and that's going to be Marley's fifth point of the game. 50-43. And what does Orlando have? Their last possession of the half. This is going to be an and one, and that's going to go to Donald Royal off the bench. So Royal puts it in for two, goes to the line, and he puts in the free throw. So Donald Royal with the old-fashioned three-point play keeps Orlando in it, and 50-46, a good one here in Orlando on opening night. Let's double check our work here. So it's going to be 4 and 2. One tough one there for Bob Sura as he had a couple of misses. 2, 4, 6, 8 for Chris Mills. Only 2 points for Danny Ferry. He's only got 6 for the game. I've seen Ferry score quite a bit, and so that's a little surprising. So 6, 7, 15, 17, 19. That's a low quarter for them. So it should be 50, right? That's where we are. So pretty short quarter there for Cleveland. And 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 points for Penny Hardaway. Got 4 off the bench for Brian Shaw, the three-pointer from Nick Anderson, three-point play from Royal, and Shaq put in 4 in the quarter. So 15, 18, 21, 25 for Orlando, and 25 plus 19 is 39-44, should be. Is that right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 2, 4, 3, 3, 2, 4. Okay, so 15, 18, 21, 25. 25 plus 19 is 39-44. Okay, so we got an extra 2 in there somewhere. So it should be 44. And our score is 50-44, so that's a 6-point lead. Orlando had the last possession, so we're going to have Cleveland take the ball in the second half. This one halfway over, it's 50-44. Cleveland over Orlando in this opening night matchup, both teams with 4 turnovers in the first half. And we'll see how this one winds up in the second. Right out of the gates, Cleveland turns it over. That's going to be turnover number 5 for them. Orlando back down the floor, and this is going to be a bucket to Shaq as they feed it down low to the big man. And he cuts the lead to 4. And Cleveland with an opportunity for a three-pointer here. That's going to go to Chris Mills, taking the 3, 37% shooter. He's guarded by Dennis Scott, so that makes him a 40% shooter. And he misses anyway. So Chris Mills with the three-point miss. And the long rebound's going to go back to the Magic, who come down. There's a 2-point attempt. This is from Dennis Scott. He's being guarded by Chris Mills. So that's a 1-46 is a make. And Scott with the miss. Have not gotten him on the board yet. So we'll see if he can score any in the second half. Cleveland with the rebound, comes back down the floor. There's a 2-point attempt. That's to Terrell Brandon. He's going to be guarded by Brian Shaw. So 1-49 is a make. And Brandon, everybody ice cold in the second half. Orlando back down the floor. They finally put it in. This is going to be Horace Grant down low with the rebound and a putback. And Horace Grant cuts the lead to 50-48. 2-point lead for the Cavs. They have a 2-point attempt. This is coming from Chris Mills. He'll be guarded by Dennis Scott, so that's going to be a 1-52 is a make for Mills. And Mills just ice cold as he has 0 for 2 from the field in this half. Orlando can't take advantage. They turn it over for the 5th time, and Cleveland promptly begins a scoring run. So this is going to be an 8-0 run from Cleveland. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they will take a 58 to 48 lead on this scoring run. Let's take our 2 minutes off. And that's an 8-0 run. So let's see how we got there. So for Cleveland, 55 is going to be this third row. So that's going to be a 3 downtown for Bobby Phils. A couple of buckets here from Chris Mills as he finally gets off the schneid. And Michael Cage dropping in a point. And that's going to bring us to 58 to 48, 10-point lead for the Cavs over the Magic. And let's see if the Magic can respond. That's a bucket. That comes from Dennis Scott as he gets on the board for the first time in this game. 2 points. The lead is now 58-50. Cleveland with the ball. Here is a 2-point attempt. That comes from Terrell Brandon. He's being guarded this time by Brian Shaw, so 1 to 49 is a make, and Brandon puts it in for his first bucket of the second half. 60 to 50, the lead back to 10 for Cleveland. Orlando just misses on the scoring run and instead turns it over for the sixth time, and that gives the ball back to Cleveland. 5 minutes and 40 seconds left in the third. Here is a 42. 42 is going to be a 2-point attempt for Bobby Phils. Phils being guarded by Anthony Bowie. You see it's 72. Bowie's on the court. He's a +2, so 1 to 49 is a make for Phils, and Bowie's defense not so good. There's a bucket. That's 5 for Bobby Phils in the second half. 62 to 50 is our score. 12-point lead for the Cavs. 5 minutes and 20 seconds left, and Orlando brings it up the floor. This will be in their set offense, an opportunity for Anthony Hardaway. He is being guarded by Terrell Brandon, so 1 to 56 is a make for Penny, and he misses that one. That's his first attempt in the second half. Cleveland back down the floor. It's a 23. Free throws go to John Crotty, 86% shooter, and he drops them both in. Crowdy with a nice game. He's got 6 off the bench for Cleveland. 83 to Orlando. This is going to go down low to the big man, and Shaq hammers it home for 2. 62-52 is the Cleveland lead. 22, back to the free throw line goes Terrell Brandon. This is 88% free throw shooter. He drops them both in, and that pushes the lead back to 64-52, 12-point lead for Cleveland. 4 minutes left in the third quarter. A 64 is going to be a auto bucket that goes to Nick Anderson. Anderson with another 2. He's got 8 in the game. And 64-54, 10-point lead. Cleveland with the ball. They go to the line, and it'll be Danny Ferry at the line. He makes them both, and Danny Ferry on the board for the first time in the second half. 66 to 54, the lead for Cleveland. Here's a bucket that's going to go to Penny Hardaway, and he gets off the schneid in the second half, and that's going to be 18-20 points now for Penny, as we haven't heard much from him in the second, but he lit it up in the first. Here's a bucket that's going to go to Michael Cage down low against Shaq. Shaq goes for the steal. He misses it. Cage turns around and hammers it home for 2. 68 to 56, 12-point lead for Cleveland. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the third quarter. Here's a 58. That's going to be an and one opportunity. That goes to Nick Anderson, who takes the rare trip down the lane. He gets hammered, puts it in, goes to the line, and puts that in, and that's going to be a 3-point play for Nick Anderson, as he's got 11 now in the game. Score is 68 to 59 as Orlando gets it back under 10. Cleveland goes, there's a 2-point opportunity here on their end. That'll be for Bobby Phils. He's being guarded by Nick Anderson. So it's 1 to 52 is a make for Phils, and he misses as Anderson D's him up, and Phils misses the contested shot. Back down the floor come Orlando trying to cut into the lead. Here's a 26. That'll be to the line for Penny Hardaway. He misses the first and makes the second. So it's a miss and a make as they cut into the lead by one. 68-60, 8-point lead for the Cavs. They go back to the line. This will be Bob Sura to the line, and he makes one of two. Makes the first, misses the second, and it's been kind of a tough night for Bob Sura, not making as many as he had hoped. 69-60 is the lead for Cleveland. Orlando gets a bucket. That comes from Penny Hardaway. He's got 5 in the second half. And he's got, 23 for the game. 69-62 is that it? I don't know. That's it for now. Cleveland with another scoring run. This will be their third scoring run of the game. And a 58 is going to be a 6-0 run. So we count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's going to take us into the fourth quarter. So this will be the last play of the third. 6-0 run for the Cavs. And how did they get there? 4 is going to be this first row. So that's a bucket from Chris Mills, bucket from Denny Ferry, and a bucket from Michael Cage. We're going to take our 2 minutes off the clock, and so we'll have 11 minutes into the fourth quarter, or 11 minutes left in the game, or be Orlando ball. Let's go ahead and figure out the stats for the third quarter. It's 4, 2, 5, 1, 2, 4, 6. 6 for Chris Mills, who missed the first couple shots but got it going. And 5 for Michael Cage. So 9, 15, 16, 21, 23, 27 for Orlando. Let's see if that matches up with what we have. So it should be at 77. Must have missed one there. So 27, another good quarter for Cleveland. And let's check out Orlando. 2, 4, 5 for Penny Hardaway. And 5 for Slick Nick. That's going to be 2 and 2 and 4. 10, 12, 14, 18, and a really low quarter for Orlando. Let's see where that puts them. So should be 62. That's correct. Okay. So only 18 points in the third. Only 19 points in the first for Orlando. So some trouble scoring the basketball here. You can see quite a few misses for them in the game, and 6 turnovers as well. So our score here is 77-62, 15-point lead, largest lead of the game for the Cavs. Orlando with the ball and trying to get back into this one desperately, and they turn it over for the 7th time. So Cleveland with the ball. Here's the 35. 35 is going to be a 2-point attempt. That goes to Danny Ferry, and he'll be guarded by Horace Grant, +4. So 1-54 for Danny Ferry, and he puts it in. That's going to be 8, 10, 12 points for the game for Danny Ferry. Here's a 25. 25 is free throws. That goes to Nick Anderson. Only a 69% shooter. He makes 1 of 2. Makes the first, misses the second, and that's going to be the lead now is 79-63, 16-point lead for the Cavs, and they go on yet another scoring run. This time it's going to be a 6-0 run again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and more importantly, it milks time off of the clock. So let's check out the scoring run. It's a 56. 56 is here in the third row. So 2 free throws for Bobby Phills and a 4-point play. Look at that, a 4-point play for Chris Mills. So a 3 plus 1, and that's how we get to our 6-0 run. And we're going to take 2 minutes off the clock, down to 7:40. And it's going to be Orlando ball. So in the fourth quarter, if you touch this, it doesn't do anything. So you have to just sort of manually roll and knock that down yourself. Some people, maybe they don't want to play scoring runs in the fourth. I don't know. Not sure why I made that decision now, but I did, and that's how you can roll down the 2 minutes off the clock in the fourth quarter. Orlando ball, they're down quite a bit here now. It is 85-63, 15-point lead. A 22-point lead for the Cavaliers. There's a 15. That's going to be back to the line. At least gets them on the board. That's going to be Dennis Scott with 2, and Scott with a couple of free throws brings the lead back down under 20. It's actually right at 20. Sorry. Cleveland with the ball. 75 is going to be a bucket. That goes to Chris Mills. Chris Mills having a really nice game here. So he's got 14, 22 plus 6. So 28 for the game for Chris Mills. And Orlando comes back down the floor. It is 87-65. There is yet another turnover for Orlando, as those have been killing them in the game. And here's a 3, a bomb coming downtown from Danny Ferry. And he could really shoot it. And that's going to be a 3-pointer. Pushes the lead to 90-65. So 25-point lead now for the Cavaliers as they are pulling away. 56 is going to be a 2-point attempt for Nick Anderson, and he is being guarded by Bob Sura. So 1-47 for Nick, and he misses. Lots of misses in the game for Orlando. Cleveland turns it over for the 6th time, and Orlando a chance to come back and take advantage. That is going to be a bucket to Shaq, who's got 8, 13, 15 in the game. And Cleveland back down the floor, goes to the free throw line. That'll be Bobby Fields to the line, 77% shooter, and Fields makes them both. He's had a nice game too. 13, 15, 17 for the Cavs. Orlando with an auto bucket. This will go to Shaq again, as they need to feed the big man. And Cleveland comes down and turns it over for the 7th time. So Orlando with an opportunity here to close the gap just a little. Here is a free throw attempt from Shaq, and he is going to make one and miss one. And makes the first, misses the second. He's actually 1, 2, 3, 4 for 8, 4 for 6, 4 for 6, I guess. Score is 90-66, and Cleveland with the ball. 47 is going to be a 2-point attempt. That comes from Danny Ferry. He's being guarded by Joe Wolf off the bench. So Wolf is a +3, so 1-53. And Danny Ferry drops it in again. He's got 7 in the fourth quarter as Danny Ferry showed up to play. 92-66. And another turnover for the Magic, as that's turnover number 9. And Cleveland obliges with turnover number 8. And back down the floor comes Orlando. That's going to be a 3-ball for Nick Anderson as he hits the 3-pointer. The score now 92-69. Cleveland's defense showing up in this game, and they turn it over yet again. That's turnover number 9. Let's see if Orlando can take advantage of that turnover. 23 is free throws to Nick Anderson, 69% shooter. Anderson puts them both in. And he's got 5-6 in the fourth. The score is now 92-71, 21-point lead. Orlando trying to at least make the final score respectable. Cleveland has a bucket here. That comes from Chris Mills. Chris Mills with a really nice game. And I think he's going to wind up with the game-high score. And we'll see. 94-71, 23-point lead for Cleveland as Orlando has squandered many opportunities. Here is an N1 play, and that's going to come from Dennis Scott as he gets down the line. Puts it in for 2 and goes to the charity stripe. That's going to be a completion of that 3-point play. So Dennis Scott with 2 and a 1, and that's 1, 2, 3. So our score now is 94-74, 20-point lead for the Cavs as they are cruising into the finish line here. Here's a 57. 57 is going to be an and 1 for them as Terrell Brandon takes it right down the middle of the paint, lays it in, gets hammered, goes to the line, and puts it in for 2, or for a 3-point play. So a 2 and a 1, and that gets them to 97 to 74. 23-point lead for the Cavs, and this will be a bucket that goes to Penny Hardaway. First time we've called his name in the fourth quarter, which is probably why Orlando is not scoring much in the fourth. So Cleveland with their last possession of the game. These are free throws to who? Bob Sura. He puts in the first and the second. So Sura finishes off his night well with a couple of points. 99 to 76, our score. Last possession of the game. Orlando gets another and 1 opportunity. This time going to Shaq as he gets it down low, and he gets hammered as hard as they can do it, but he still throws it home for 2. Goes to the line, and he misses at the line. So that's going to be 2 plus a miss at the line. And so the final tentatively is going to be 99 to 78. That would be a 21-point win for the Cavaliers on opening night. Let's just double check our work here. It's going to be a 3, 4, 2, 2, 4, plus 4 is 8, 2, 4, 7 for Danny Ferry. So a nice quarter for him. 15, 17, 21, 24. And 24 plus 77 should be 101 as they cross the century mark. So 101 and 24. What do we got here? We got a 2 plus 4 is 6. 2, 4, 5, 2, 4, 6, 7 for Shaq in the fourth. So, boy, that's a really bad quarter. 8, 13, 20. Not a lot of scoring there. 20 plus, what did they have? They had 62, so it should be 82. Okay, it'll be all right. I missed a couple there. So 82, and that is a 19-point win. So a 19-point win for Cleveland over Orlando. And what was the actual score? Did we get close? Let's see. The actual score 99-88. So tables were turned in the actual game. 101 to 82. And that's why we play them on the tabletop. Both of these, again, are top flight teams in the top 10 in the NBA. And you can tell because they have a 1 to 3 scoring run chance. So really good one here. And tough luck for the Magic. They had a lot of misses, had a lot of turnovers. And just couldn't hit on several of these threes. They had 2 missed threes. Shaq went all but missing in the second and third quarters. Penny Hardaway not to be heard from in the fourth. And so just a tough one for them. And really Chris Mills taking it to Orlando. Let's find out the total totals. So 8-11 for Terrell Brandon. 2-4-6 for John Crotty off the bench. 13-17 for Bobby Phills. That's a nice game for him. 3-4-6 off the bench for Bob Sura. 16, 22, and 30 for a game high 30 for Chris Mills. 5 for Dan Marley. 6, 10, 17. Nice game from Danny Ferry as he didn't have much going on in the first half, but really came on in the fourth quarter. No scores from Tyrone Hill. And 8 for Michael Cage, which I think you would take that anytime for Michael Cage. And that's how we get there. So 30 for Chris Mills, 18, 23, 25, 25 for Penny Hardaway, but he had 18 in the first half, kind of went away in the second half. 4 points off the bench for Brian Shaw, 6, 11, 17 for Nick Anderson, who also started slow in the first half and picked it up in the second half. Here's a bucket from Anthony Bowie, 7. Not much going on for Dennis Scott. Horace Grant, only 4 points for Grant. Got a 3 here from Royal, and nothing going on for Joe Wolf. Here is 9, 13, 20 for Shaq as he ends the game well, and nothing for John Koncak. So 25 for Penny Hardaway, 20 for Shaquille O'Neal, 17 for Nick Anderson. That's their big 3, and just wasn't enough to overcome Cleveland and Chris Mills. All right, so that is another opening night game in the books. Cleveland wins this one 101-82 in Orlando. Lots of scoring runs for Cleveland, only 1 for Orlando, just couldn't quite hit on them. And turnovers even at 9. 30 points, game high 30 points for Chris Mills, a small forward for the Cavs as he gets his season started well. Again, this is a replay of all the games on November 3rd, 1995. Next up will be Vancouver at Portland. And I believe Damon Stoudemire for Vancouver is gonna play, and he was the Rookie of the Year in 1995-96. This is Uptempo Basketball. If you want to purchase the game, you can go to uptempobasketballgame.com, uptempobasketballgame.com, and you can check it out. We got 4 seasons available, including this one that you're watching here. You can pick up the score sheet. You can get the scoring runs cards. You get the teams, and you get an offline timer. You can use the timer that we have here for the online version, this online version here, or you can keep the time completely offline, so that's an option as well. And you also get the game guide. So there's lots of components to the game that you can download that you get whenever you purchase the game. If you have any questions or comments about this game or about Uptempo Basketball, leave them in the comments section below. Would love to hear your thoughts. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, click subscribe. And if you like this this content, give it a thumbs up. That's a super easy way to support the game, support the channel, support me as a designer and a creator. And what's ahead for the future for Uptempo Basketball is still working on NCAA teams. Also working with another gentleman who wants to try to put together ABA teams. So we'll see how that works out. And I got to do my part to help him out. So hopefully that will work out as well. Lots of irons in the fire for me. And I like to just kind of keep things moving and keep things going along. This has been a really fun opportunity to play the game, and just sort of go back and see some of these players from a long time ago. I think that's it. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.